This is the author's commentary for The Mummy's Returned. This book was most likely inspired by the King Tut things that were going on at the time. This is 1978, and King Tut was a big thing. And there were a lot of documentaries about opening tombs in Egypt and the pyramids, and there were stories about the curses and how that the people that were opening these up had mysteriously died. And so I'm sure that a lot of this is, and this is very familiar to anybody who's seen those type documentaries or TV shows about mummies and the pyramids and the tombs and things like this. So this was most likely influenced by that. This one was number 22. As you can see, the manifest page here was pretty much established by this point, 2 years in. We've dropped Key Incorporated, and now we're Tiger Paw Incorporated. These were interchanged as I felt I found a better one. Why they had to have multiple companies that were in charge, I don't know. I didn't like just one, so I thought, well, let's do more than one. It could also be a Tiger Paw Incorporated comic. So later on, I came in with my parents had purchased a stamp set where you could interchange the letters, sort of like hot lead. You could put in your own letters, these little rubber things that slipped into this stamper. And as you can see, almost all the books were stamped Cricket Books Incorporated using that stamper at a later date. And I don't know when that came, but I could probably trace that back to, you can probably see when these started appearing was about the time that the stamp was purchased. But as you'll see in this that I was never a good speller. And there are quite a few spelling errors in here. And I left most of them in the video of the book, reading of the book. So you'll see those, and you'll see where I left off the S in scientists. I did that more than once. So of course the story starts with some scientists digging a tomb, and suddenly the doors open, and you'll see here there's one of the misspellings here. He says, no, this can't be Tur. I got some, maybe it's dyslexia or something. No, this can't be true, I guess was what that was. The mummy appears, and at this point, I'm not sure. I think I added this later to help the reader understand what was going on, because I think as I let people read it, they weren't quite clear about this point in the story, which when in the video I animated it so that it's a little more understandable. But you can see here that the mummy, he has his death mask on, and I've written down here that he has a mask on, and then I've also had to add that he shoots poison darts out of his nose of the mask. So I've added little asterisks there, but I think I got that it's understandable more in the reading now that I've animated that and added a sound effect. So the mummy has poison darts that shoot out of its nose. In fact, this is pre Indiana Jones, really. So some of this is built around, with the poisonous darts. I think in some of the documentaries, it was more or less just like you see in Indiana Jones, where if you step on certain things, that poison darts could shoot out of the walls and stuff in it. But in this story, I have the darts are actually coming from the mummy's mask. He's shooting people. So we have the story continues. The person runs away and tries to get help. Where this is, it would have necessarily, I guess it would have to be in Egypt where the mummies are, but this is sort of my young mind's, I guess, English version of it. Everybody speaks English and they have normal clothes on, so or American style clothes, I should say. All right, so the other scientist is shot by the mummy before they can get away. So the next morning, here comes another couple other characters. Now, as you'll see in this one, and I'm not sure why I did this, and the panels are very, very small, and here are 9 panels on one page. Now, I don't know if I was thinking that there was going to be so much going on in the story that that I was going to need to condense it so that you would have more things going on at a time, or that maybe I thought I could get by with these small panels, but I'm not quite sure why we have such small panels and so many panels on a page, whereas in the past I was only doing maybe 3 panels to a page. But the story continues with the 2 young people. I've also noticed that a lot of times when there's something going on, when somebody says, "Let's do this," that the other person's response is always, "Okay." I see that a lot. Also, you'll notice that there's some red pen. This is one of the few a few stories that have color, and I guess I had a red marker pen or something, and I went back and added some color. But that's the only color I've added, is the red for the torches. And maybe I did that, well, you'll see. So that as the story goes, the 2 young people are approached by the mummy. He shoots one with his arrows, poison arrows, and one runs away. Now, this may or may not have been clear in the story, and this may be something that, maybe that's one of the reasons why I went back and used red, so that you would understand that where you see red, that's fire. Because it's not really pointed out in the story that he drops the torch as he's shot, and the other guy runs away. And before he can close the other door, the mummy comes out in flames. So, not sure. So you might not even know that that's the mummy saying, "Help me." I think the idea was he drops the torch, and the torch catches the mummy on fire. See, and he's wrapped in rags, and he catches on fire here. And then the guy comes back and he says, "Well, let's see who this guy is," because he's thinking that the mummy is a person, not a real mummy. He realizes, oh, it's a real mummy. And since it's a real mummy, he dies from the curse. And then we have the epilogue here where the police arrive and they tell, look, we found these scientists with darts in their backs and mummy cases, and found two boys laying on tables with their entrails cut out like mummies would be. And then they find the mask covered in blood. And then, of course, the story ends there. I shouldn't say of course, but the story ends there with the more scientists coming and finding an inscription on the tomb that says, whoever disturbs this tomb shall die. And that ends before we get to the last page. And here on the last page, I've created a maze to fill in space and a list of other books that I had created. So that is The Mummy's Return. If you have any questions or comments, or did you understand the story when I was reading it, that he caught on fire, or let me know in the comments. If you haven't watched the book that this commentary is about, you can click here. You can click here and watch another cricket book in the series, or you can click on this mystery box and go to something completely different. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this. Also, links are below in the description for mobile users. Please leave a comment below and tell me what you thought of the video, or any questions you might have. Thanks.